Good morning, everyone. Happy Bank Holiday Monday, and here is my Tantalus Part 1 vlog on, building the Tantalus. So, last night I had the wonderful experience of washing all of these bits in all its glory. It's a brilliant kit. The mould is wonderful. This is my treat, by the way. I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but this is my treat to myself back in Christmas. Got a nice work bonus, so I treated myself to this kit. Always wanted it from a Dark Elder. And yeah, I can't say I'm disappointed. The quality of the mould is brilliant. I won't go into too much detail because there's plenty of unboxings and whatnot for this model out there. This is more, like I say, just a vlog on me working through it bit by bit. But yeah, it's a brilliant model. The pieces are brilliant. I mean, you know, it's just so cool. It's really, really good. It's well thought out. It ties in nicely with the Dark Elder. I'd almost say it could sort of work with an Elder army a little bit. You could maybe sort of fluff it up as a counts as is model maybe, because it's very sleek, and although it is Dark Elder oriented, mainly because you can tell because these sharp fins, you could sort of work around it. This is very elegant. You could remodel this model and make it more suitable for Elder. But anyway, so last night I spent the wonderful task of washing and cleaning all of this up. It's always recommended with fine cast stuff, as we all know. And this isn't glued together, by the way. This is what I left it as last night. Basically, I had to put everything. I did this on the floor whilst myself and my wife were watching Grimm. We're watching that on Netflix. It's brilliant. And yeah, I just quickly bunged all the bits back on my cutting board. And yeah, so this isn't glued at all. All that. This is just literally quickly like put together in bits and bobs. But yeah, this is where I'm at so far. So like I say, I've washed it all. I'm halfway through cleaning up the pieces. I literally just sort of slot this on. So clean this up. I've worked all the angles. There's quite a lot of bits of flash on this model. I have seen other people review it and say it's quite bad in the sense there's lots of, once you've glued these bits together, there's loads of gaps. So I did have some green stuff handy, ready, thinking I might need it. But I don't know whether it's because I haven't completely glued all this together yet or not, but I seem to be quite lucky in the sense everything seems to be okay. The moulds seem to be all flush. There's no gaps missing. There doesn't appear to be any troubles from what I can see. You know, I don't want to be proved wrong, but at the moment it looks okay. But this is one piece obviously I've still got to work on. There's plenty of bits to take off. Those little bits there, lots of flash there. I do love the little brass etchings for the where the stands, I suppose, where the soldiers will stand. I do like brass. I haven't worked with much brass. I used to work with brass on a few models many years ago with some real professional sort of World War II vehicle kits. I had a Daimler, what was it? Dingo scout car, the ferret car, you know, the early version of that for the Desert Rats. I had one of them. They had lots of metal brass etched pieces, which is you know, that was hard to work. So it's cool to have a little bit of a nostalgic trip. I haven't worked with anything Games Workshop wise, so this is new. But yeah, really cool parts. Clean these bits up as well. Little bits and bobs there. Sounds like my little one's coughing in the background. I think she's okay. The wife's with her. But yeah, all these bits are done. My plan is to do this in three or four sub-assemblies. I have got a fan somewhere. A fan, sorry. I've got the, what do you call it? The sail. Sorry, fan. Sail. That is somewhere as well. I'm trying to think. We'll put that somewhere. But yeah, obviously that will, the sail will sit on top of this. This will fit here. The sail is one massive piece of resin. Again, there's no bends in it. There's no anything missing to it, which is really good. Again, someone else reviewed and said there's a massive great, you know, it really curved. That's not the case with this model, so again, I'm very lucky. Flatten these pieces out. There's still a bit of a kink. There's a bit on the her, but I can live with that myself. I might run it through some more boiled water again, but I think it's as straight as I'm going to get it. You know, that I'm bothered with, if you see what I mean. It's a lot flatter than what it was. That was quite on the her to begin with. But it's just so cool. There's such wonderful, nice little sculpted pieces. It's very cool. So where was I? Yes, I'm going to have 3 or 4 subsections when it comes to actually to painting and building this. For example, this piece here, if I just move these bits out of the way. Apologies for the mess of this. Like I say, I had to sort of just squash it all together late last night. Yeah, so this bit literally just, from what I can see, sits on top. So if I glue this down, the issue I'm going to have is how the hell do you paint all of that there. I know Games Workshop and many model sort of things, they tell you how to paint it and they glue it all together first, then paint it. But they never really say or recommend in the notes of the extra instructions, oh, by the way, paint that first, to some extent, and then glue it together, because if not, you've got one hell of a job to paint that. So obviously I'm going to undercoat this first, give this a very basic lead belcher dry brush, because that's all it's going to need, to be honest, because there's going to be so much more sat on top of this, there's not much point. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'll literally just undercoat it with lead belcher, just so it's got a bit of colour there. This will obviously be lead belcher as well, when I've done it. But yeah, we'll have this in 3 subsections, so barring that little bit of sort of undercoating it, blah blah blah, it's going to basically be, where are we? So it's going to be these 3 pieces. This is going to be one whole section. You'll have that piece there. Do I put this on? No, I'll probably keep this off and probably glue this to the sail. I know they do recommend not to actually glue the sails on, but I always do, because there's not a lot to hold the sail on, and if you keep it loose, I know you can move it, that's the gist of it, but I'd rather just glue it, to be honest. It feels stronger. Anyway, yeah, I'll have that piece separate the sail. So this piece, this piece, this piece. The fans, apart from the one which will eventually, which would have to go into the back of that when it's glued together, I'll keep those off to an extent. And the same with the engines, I suppose. I mean, looking at the back of the model, it's all pretty solid. It's pretty solid. There's not a lot of stuff there to go wrong. So when it comes to the sub-assembly, this piece will probably be the engine. Yeah, I'll probably put those engine pieces. There's 3 of them. There's another one there. I'll probably glue those straight onto the back of this when I'm painting the whole thing up as it actually is. And yeah, go from there, sort of thing. But that's the plan. That's my tactic. For the most part, for the intensive purposes of this vlog, I'm going to simply get these pieces built up into their sections to some extent. Little detail bits like these and controls I'll leave to the very, very last. I'll get the bulk of the model completely painted up to scratch before I add the little bits and bobs on, because that's where you can have more fun, do a bit more positioning and things as well. I'm actually thinking of modelling a few crew onto this as well. As you've seen from my other videos, I don't tend to bother doing that, but I do intend to with this model, just because this is such a, it's the centerpiece, isn't it? It's the showcase model for an army. It's really cool. So for that reason, I will stick some form of models onto the stands here. Maybe got a dude, we stood there sort of hanging out. I'm not so keen on the models hanging on the sides. I normally have a model sort of sat there, sort of clinging onto the side. I know it's part of their fluff, and obviously it's cool. But for me personally, I'd rather have them on the inside. So I'll have a little play around. We'll see. But with this model, I'm definitely going to give it a bit more attention in terms of actual crew models. Hey, I could even have like an Archon. That'd be cool. Yeah, have a little play around. Yeah, that could be awesome. But yeah, for intents and purposes, this video, anyway, I'm sure I'm repeating myself, but yeah, going to get these bits glued together. Lots more tidying up still to do. There's lots of bits of resin here, there, and everywhere. I mean, good God, look at it. It's stuff everywhere. It's crazy stuff. Yeah, get that all done. Get it all cleaned up. Finally start building sections. Undercoat bits and paint bits up as and when, just to get that sort of detail coloured and covered before actually painting the whole thing proper. Because if I glued this all together as it is with that there, this all glued together, so much stuff, you'd have such a job to actually get towards to actually paint. It's going to spoil the model. So a bit of painting whilst I go. And there we go. Part 1. There we are. So part 2, hopefully will be more the pieces together. Where we go from there, painting bits, blah blah blah. Yeah, we shall see. Thanks for watching, guys, as always. Really appreciate it. Leave any comments, any tips, any sort of tips at all to do in regards to the brass etching or painting or modelling of such a big forge-rolled model. And I'm still learning forge-rolled stuff to an extent, so do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Happy Bank Holiday Monday, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.